Fighting with My Family stars Florence Pugh, Jack Lowden, Nick Frost, Lena Headey, Vince Vaughn and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Cinematography is by REMI ADEFARASIN and music is by SHARMA. The movie was written and directed by Stephen Merchant, the man who brought us British comedies such as The Office, Extras and Life's Too Short. What's the story? Young siblings Saraya and Zach Knight, played by Tori Ellen Ross and Thomas Willey, argue over what to watch on TV. Zach wants to watch the wrestling, but Saraya wants to watch Charmed. The pair get into a fight which is adjudicated by their parents, Ricky, played by Nick Frost, and Julia, played by Lena Headey. Both kids seem to have a greater than usual knowledge of wrestling moves, and this is because their parents are both wrestlers themselves. In fact, the parents run the World Association of Wrestling in Norwich, England. While this sounds impressive, the WAW is nothing more than a painted sign on the side of a beaten up van. Saraya is asked to perform in a wrestling show to fill an empty spot, but she is not keen on wrestling. However, she is ultimately coerced into fighting because her brother is going to put on a dress and pretend to be a girl to fight her. After the fight, Saraya becomes hooked on the adrenaline rush of wrestling in front of her crowd. Several years later, the whole family makes a living by putting on wrestling shows in various lowbrow pubs and clubs. Saraya is now played by Florence Pugh, and Zach is played by Jack Lowden. Zach also runs a wrestling club for the delinquent kids in the area, so they can hopefully avoid getting into drugs. There is also a young blind kid attempting to learn wrestling. When Zach learns that his girlfriend Courtney, played by Hannah Ray, is pregnant, Zach invites Courtney's parents over to meet his family. Courtney's mother is played by Julia Davis, and her father is played by Stephen Merchant. There is a hilarious clash of cultures as Courtney's posh parents listen to Ricky and Julia's nightmare stories of drugs, armed robberies and suicide attempts. The evening is interrupted when Saraya and Zach get a call from World Wrestling Entertainment. The WWE have been impressed with some videotapes of their wrestling, and the pair are both invited to try out for the WWE when SmackDown tours England. This is the opportunity they have been waiting for all their lives. Backstage at the tryouts, the pair encounter Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. When asked for some advice on how to control the crowd, The Rock launches into one of his legendary ranting monologues. The bar has just been set impossibly high. The man running the tryouts is Hutch, played by Vince Vaughn. He explains that he is looking for a wrestler with technical ability and that special spark of personality that will please a crowd. Saraya, Zach and a dozen others are put through their paces, but ultimately Saraya is the only one that is invited to the training camp in Florida. Zach is devastated. Saraya feels guilty because she is not as good a wrestler as her brother, and she doesn't want to go to Florida without her brother. However, she is eventually convinced. Saraya heads off to Florida, but she immediately feels out of place because she is not as blonde, tall or as pretty as the other candidates. Saraya shares her hotel with three other girls: Kirsten, played by Keela Zoll, Madison, played by Ellie Gonsalves, and Jerry Lynn, played by Kimberly Matula. Saraya and the others attend the daily training sessions with Hutch. It's tough, but Saraya clearly has better wrestling skills, and this keeps her on the programme as other candidates are dismissed. Saraya's Achilles heel is her wrestling persona. Being more reserved, the girls run circles around her in the ring and turn the audience against her. If Saraya wants to stay in the programme, she will need to improve. Saraya has a heart-to-heart with Hutch. Saraya wants to know why Hutch picked her when her brother was a better wrestler. Hutch admits that while Zach had great technical skill, he does not have what it takes to succeed in the WWE. Hutch believes that Zach would have tried so hard to get noticed, he would have ended up getting seriously injured. As a consequence, Zach's relationship with his wife and kid would have suffered. We understand that Hutch is speaking from experience because he admits to making this mistake himself. Back in England, Zach is fighting rejection hard. With his dreams of wrestling in the WWE shattered, Zach is slowly declining into depression. He has little interest in his newborn son or his wrestling club, and he has started to drink. When Saraya returns for the Christmas holidays, he beats on her during an exhibition match and then disappears. Later, Saraya admits that she is considering quitting the WWE. At first, her brother and parents are horrified, but they eventually concede that Saraya must do what she wants. However, after Saraya makes up with her brother, she decides to head back to Florida after all. Zach pulls himself together and starts rebuilding his life. He engages with his family, restarts the wrestling club, and he even manages to turn the blind kid into a professional wrestler. Saraya has also changed her attitude. She works extra hard on training, and she even makes an effort to become friends with the other girls. This effort is rewarded when Saraya is offered a spot in WrestleMania. The Rock returns and they call Saraya's parents together. What Saraya doesn't realise is that she has been picked against the current DWAYNE champion, AJ Lee. AJ doesn't consider timid Saraya to be much of a threat, and so she places her title on the line. The fight starts, but this is fine with Saraya because she is a better fighter than talker. Saraya wins the match using one of her brother's trademark moves, which is retitled The Page Turner. She becomes the youngest Diva champion in the WWE. Issues. While I understand why Saraya is given a spot on WrestleMania, I found it a bit of a shock to see her win the Diva title in her first match. It seemed disrespectful to all the other recruits who must have gone through the exact same training and who had been paying their dues for much longer than Saraya had. Review. Fighting with My Family is an interesting look behind the curtain at the training and dedication required to be a WWE wrestler. There are strong performances all round, but Nick Frost and Lena Headey are given all the best lines. They are hilarious. A special mention has to go to the scene in which wrestler Union Jack, played by Elroy Powell, is asked to take a hit from a trash can lid and a bowling ball. The audience fell apart with laughter during this scene. Also, watching The Rock's rant backstage at SmackDown was worth the price of admission alone. Fighting with My Family is a fun movie that explores what it's like to follow your dreams. It is an underdog story with heart and a lot of laughs. My rating, 85%. Hi, this is Mike Kendall, and thanks for watching my video. I'd like to know what you thought of this movie. Was it a hit? Was it a flop? Let me know your thoughts and rating in the comments section. You can also tell me what other movies you'd like to see reviews for. Please like and subscribe, and remember to hit that notification bell for all my new videos. Sharing these videos on Facebook and Twitter would help me out a lot. I'd sure appreciate it. Don't forget to check out the other videos on my channel. We're adding more all the time. I'm off to see a movie. You have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.